Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. We got some breaking news today. Surprising news, I got to admit. Steven Spielberg is apparently out as director of Indiana Jones 5. Now, it's not like he is fired or anything else. He has chosen this. He wanted to give a new generation of filmmakers a chance to do it. But let's break down what this is, because this is definitely going to change a lot of things. He's being replaced. Well, this is in talks. James Mangold of Logan and Ford versus Ferrari is in talks to replace Spielberg for Indiana Jones 5. I got to say, this is a good sign, I think. Let's get to the news, and I'll share my thoughts at the end here. After the long development process, is handling directing reins of Indiana Jones 5 to another filmmaker for the first time in its franchise's 39-year history. Variety has learned. It's a pretty big exclusive for them. Sources say the deal hasn't closed, but Ford versus Ferrari director James Mangold is in talks to take the job. Mangold has been in this situation before, where he took over the Wolverine franchise with Logan, which was a blockbuster that grossed 619 global, earning Mangold an Oscar nomination for adapted screenplay. Spielberg will remain as hands-on producer on Indy 5, according to a source close to the filmmaker. The decision to leave the director's chair was entirely Spielberg's in a desire to pass along Indy's whip to a new generation to bring the perspective of the story. Harrison Ford is meanwhile still on the project and recently made headlines saying that the future, that he will be there and that they were going to be shooting in about a month or so. Then he said, well, scheduling issues. I'm going to get to that quote. This is pretty big news coming in that Indy 5. It's going to give it a new look, and I think that's actually good. This may also get pushed from its 2021 release date now, possibly, they said. Disney and Spielberg have declined to comment. This is already going to be a busy year for Spielberg, who is in post-production on West Side Story, which Disney will release through 20th Century Studios on December 18th. But the most successful director in Hollywood, handing the franchise that helped define his career to another, is nonetheless a surprising development. As opposed to other franchises he started, like Jaws, Jurassic Park, the filmmaker has remained in tight creative control in the Indiana Jones films, directing every one since Raiders of the Lost Ark, which earned 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. George Lucas, who co-created Indiana Jones, Spielberg has retired and is not expected to be officially involved in Indy 5. The most recent Indy film, Crystal Skull, was a global hit, earning $790 million worldwide, but also served as an example of nostalgic excitement for the return of a beloved franchise after many years away, leading to disappointment among some fans of the finished product. One thing is clear: Mangold has quite a big fedora to fill. Ha ha! Clever. But look, I think this is a good story. This is a good sign. I think Spielberg is right. I think it's time for him to let someone else have a crack at Indy, but then to still be there in an advisorial sort of way. Plus, Spielberg might just not want to do it. He might be over it, but still want to let the franchise go. And I think how big of him to sort of let it go, and to then get someone like James Mangold, who to me has done tremendous work between Logan and Ford vs. Ferrari, is showing what a tremendous filmmaker he is to come into these properties and tell stories, such different stories, but both with tremendous action. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this means. To think that the director of Logan could come in and give us another indie film that's maybe more emotionally there, still along with adventure and action-packed scenes. This could finally give it the shot in the arm that we're excited for. And remember, from everything I read, George Lucas was the one who was most vocal about the alien parts and sort of the silly parts of that movie, of Crystal Skull, which I'm not a fan of. To hear that he's not there and now Spielberg is going to step aside and let someone take over, and someone as respectful as Mangold, suddenly my interest is peaking. I'm curious to see where this can go, because I'm worried, because we got the new Indiana Jones. We got it by Spielberg. It was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it was attempting to start sort of a new one with Shia LaBeouf as Mutt, swinging around the vines with the monkeys. Look, I don't know how that got in. It was you could say, oh, it's just a kids movie, but I don't know. A severe disappointment, and just the story and its effects and everything about it just didn't feel worthy. So, and I love the first 3 films. Last Crusade, it's so great. So it just shows you can still have a sequel in this franchise that works. So I'm optimistic now. I think this is good news for us. What do you guys think? I want to hear you down in the comments, and hit me up on social. But there's more to the story, because that was not the only news. I glossed over sort of Harrison Ford's quote, because he went and said something pretty interesting. He compared Indiana Jones 5 to the MCU. He was talking to Cinema Blend, promoting Into the Wild, or what's it called? Whatever his movie. They didn't even mention. Come on, you got to mention the film he's there promoting. What was it called again? The Call of the Wild. But anyway, here's the quote he said. I don't really want to give them what they want to see. I want to give them something they didn't anticipate. They're used to a degree of disappointment when you revisit. Certainly, the Marvel movies have made a spectacular example of success that worked the other way around. They killed it. Well, we're not going to make just another Indiana Jones unless we are in a position to kill it. We want it to be the best. Interesting. A lot of articles and headlines out there like, well, he wants it to be in the MCU. He wants it to be as good as Marvel movies. He wants to have a universe and a worthy story that has multiple pieces. I get what he's trying to say, and something unexpected. Hiring James Mangold to come in and sort of take the reins and take it in a new creative visionary place. That's one way to do it. He's said that he wants to find Indiana Jones, look what Marvel has accomplished and say, let's do it what those guys did. So it's an interesting thing. He also added to that quote, we've got some scheduling issues and a few script things, but we're determined to get it right before we get it made. That's that's an important thing to sort of point out. He knows there's still things that need to be fixed, but he is getting it close. It's on the finishing line. And now, this is probably something he said before he could acknowledge that Mangold was in the running. And clearly, you got to remember, when news like this drops, it is usually a tester. It's a tester to see how the fans react. Are they excited? Are they frustrated? It'll build up some buzz. And it works both ways for Mangold, right? Because if the fans are excited, he can demand more money or he can make an adjustment. If the fans aren't, he can step away and say, excuse me, hiccups. He can step away and be like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Change my mind. You're not paying me enough. It's not. I want more creative control. Those are the type of things that's why you tease and drop a scoop like this. At the same time, Spielberg could have done it because Spielberg might want to be like, make sure this gets out there before he makes the final call, because he could still turn around and be like, all right, fine, I'll direct it. Because if look, Spielberg wants this to be a franchise that works. That's admirable. Kathleen Kennedy clearly does too. You got to remember she's involved in Indy and all Lucasfilm stuff, and this is a Lucasfilm property. Look, they want it to be a success. So Spielberg sort of teasing this out unofficially to see if fans are upset. Are they going to be okay with this? Is this a cool enough director to get? That's what this is about. Mangold could already sign the deal, and they're sort of just not announcing it yet. They could be. It's all part of how Hollywood works. And sometimes these scoops are usually, if a big outlet like this is doing it, it's usually a pretty good sign that it's real, it's in talks. But it doesn't mean it's going to be true, right? It can always fall apart. And the reason being, because again, this is a test. This is a test to see how we react to news. And so to offer my reaction to this news, like I said, I think this is a smart move. Look, I love Spielberg. I'm not here to knock Spielberg. Who would I be to try and knock Spielberg? But, it seems like Spielberg wants to make his, do different types of movies and dramas and things. Ready Player One was one I was very excited for him. I was so excited when he took that book because I love the book. And I thought, if anybody could pull off this book, it's him. And it's, a little bit of like a Roger Rabbit with the world of just all characters. And when will a movie ever allow you to be like, you know what, we could put Batman versus Wolverine, and who could get those rights? Spielberg could get those rights. And I was disappointed with Ready Player One because he made a whole point of like, yeah, I don't want to put any of my own work in there because it shouldn't be about that. It seems like he was being too humble about it. And it was frustrating because it's like, no, dude, this is that movie. This is the one premise where that's the point of the movie. Everyone has their avatars and things, and you can get the clearances, and that's what the book was all about. It was all these great things. And they tried to get a lot of other things, and they did. They had that Shining moment, which was odd, given that Dr. Sleep then did it too. But at the end of the day, it didn't hit as well, and I was surprised. I wasn't as emotionally invested. I didn't think Spielberg could miss that one, and it felt like he sort of did in a way. It felt like he sort of didn't understand it, or he just got too lost in the technology of it, or whatever happened. But the core of it just was gone. And I also don't love Mark Rylance, who's like his Leonardo DiCaprio right now. Like the BFG, the other one Spielberg did. I'm like, it was just a CGI mess. And Mark Rylance is okay, but he's not like that actor. I'm like, yeah, put him in everything. And Spielberg sort of got this love affair with him. And between Ready Player One and Big BFG, Spielberg just, to me, as this sort of like, well, look, I respect and he can do whatever he wants. But at the same time, I just see like, I don't know, it just feels like he's not the same. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not trying to knock him, but I wish I was more excited about some of these films. Even like Lost World and some of the films back in the day when they seemed like he didn't do a great film, still had that stamp of like a Spielberg adventure. And now in the days of CGI, I just don't feel like Spielberg is the same. Some of the heart's gone. Like this Jurassic Park didn't need the CGI. It holds up today. And nowadays when he gets lost in the CGI, I don't know. I lose interest. I don't feel like he's as good at directing CGI as he is the real live action practical effects. So knowing that and seeing Crystal Skull, same example, right? All of those movies to me just show like, you know what? Look, Spielberg, do what you want. I respect it. But let's let somebody come in and see if they can have some fun with this. Maybe they aren't, over it. Maybe Spielberg is. Spielberg's at a level that none of us could ever comprehend, that he'll be able to do whatever he wants. He'll be respected for the rest of his life, as he should. But, maybe you do need to step away and not do the sequel. Let someone else sort of take a new take at it. And so him allowing that and sort of seeing that, good for him, man. And more respect for him. And now seeing James Mangold come in to sort of put his touch on it, now I'm a little intrigued. Now I want to see what that could. Now this could be a train wreck for him, and this could be the thing that sinks him too. And then we learn, you know what, let it die, let it fade out. But if we could get one more indie like Last Crusade, with old Indy instead of Sean Connery, although how great would it be if they got Sean Connery? Oh man, that would have been so great. But my point being, that's interesting. I'm interested now. I'm curious. Lucas isn't going to sort of try and shove something in. Spielberg will be there to sort of advise and help, and then Mangold can sort of lead this, who's proven he can do that with films. What do you guys think? Does this help change your mind? Does this the fact that Harrison Ford seems invested and interested and thinking about it and not checking out? He's not checked out like he typically seems. He's in it. He's thinking about the Marvel movies and how do we make that work in this? Harrison Ford doesn't need to be saying stuff like that. He could just be like, yeah, whatever. But he seems like an interested. We got Mangold. Guys, are we excited about Indy 4? Indy 5? Could this be a thing that actually suddenly surprises us all and gets us back to the way it should have been? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit me up on social media. And do me a favor, since you're watching right here, go give me a plug. I'm plugging this channel, my new channel. I really need some subscribers over there so I can monetize the channel as I deliver this new series, Hugging the Cactus. A lot of you have been asking, what's the status, Andy? Well, it's going to be dropping Sundays in March, and you guys can be the first subscribers. It just dropped today. And over there on, there we go. Over there, you can see Hugging the Cactus. Go subscribe to Hugging the Cactus on YouTube, youtube.com/Hugging the Cactus to go check out. It just started, so you can be one of the first. I need to get to 1,000 at some point. I got a lot of my old canceled sort of topics in there, but you can watch the trailer. But I got some really fun guests lined up that I'll be announcing very soon. So if you want to be first in the know on that, like I said, go hit that subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you are alerted when Hugging the Cactus drops. So thank you so much to everybody who supported that and has been staying tuned. I'll put the little cactus over here. I think it's there. Check for the little cactus. You can go hit that subscribe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And tell me your thoughts down below, engaging the algorithm. Have an awesome one. I'll be back with more content very soon. Bye, everybody.